The atmosphere at Belmont Village is vibrant. We're a community built for life. We thrive and promote independence, engagement, social activity. It's an environment where we want our residents to have fun. And the beauty of it really is it allows our residents to age in place. They don't need to move. This is home.
When you belong to a community, it makes you feel safe. It inspires you to thrive. It honors your achievements, and it makes you feel at home. For nearly 20 years, Belmont Village Senior Living has created communities that have enriched the lives of seniors and their families, providing places where seniors lead healthy, purposeful lives under the care of staff who truly understand their needs. Belmont Village offers assisted living, independent living, and memory care in a continuum that supports residents when care needs change and providing for couples of varying care needs.
It's nice that we can be together. She needs a little bit more care than I do, and I don't have to do any cooking or shopping.
Aging is a gift. We invite you to embrace it with us and be a part of our community and our family. Belmont Village Senior Living, the community built for life.
Welcome to Senior Stay or Go TV. Today our guest is Beverly Sanborn. She is a licensed clinical social worker, a gerontologist, and the Vice President of Program Development at Belmont Village Senior Living. Welcome, Beverly. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
Beverly, thank you for coming today. We are really thrilled to have your expertise here today. And our first topic, we're going to talk greatly about Belmont Village's award-winning programs, but we want to talk about the Cognitive Reserve Program. What is it, and why is it important to people to know about it?
Well, cognitive reserve is actually very important. It's one of the hottest topics today, because basically what cognitive reserve is it is developing extra neural pathways in your brain so that you have extra neurons, extra nerve cells that can hop into action. They're in reserve. They've been developed and they're in reserve, and they can go into action and fill in if there's any assault on your brain, such as having Alzheimer's disease, plaques or tangles. They can come and help out. It doesn't mean that you won't get dementia. If you already have an Alzheimer process, for example, it doesn't mean that that is a cure. But what it can do is delay symptoms. It looks like that is a possibility, that it will delay symptoms. So cognitive reserve is developing it and building it is probably one of the most interesting and important kinds of tasks that we can do as we get older. We really need to devote attention to doing that.
Give us an example of how we do that.
Of how you develop cognitive reserve. Well, you know how, if you take as an analogy developing your muscles, we know that we have to exercise, but let's say you wanted to develop your deltoid muscles. And you have little dinky deltoids. You want to develop large deltoids. Okay?
I want to think no.
Whatever is the size of it.
Right.
You want to enlarge. Okay. So you would need to have a focused kind of exercise just for deltoid muscles, and you need to do it on a regular basis. Well, and you could take walks. You could do other kinds of exercise, but that wouldn't develop your deltoids. It would be good for you. All right. And the cognitive reserve is the same kind of a principle. There are different parts of the brain, and each one of them functions in a different way, and you need specific kinds of exercises to develop each one. And you need to do it on a regular basis. Just as developing your deltoids would require constant effort, you need to have constant effort with your brain.
So something like doing crossword puzzles or learning a second language or...
Yes. Now those would be, but each of those would be developing a different area.
Right. Right.
So there's a huge variety. One of the areas that you want to develop that's very important is the frontal lobe. That's this part of the brain here, because this is the part of the brain that is what they call the executive function. This is the part that gives you the ability to plan and the...
I don't have much of that one.
Well, that one...
I need exercises for that one.
That we all do. You know, we're becoming a little lazy brain, as a matter of fact. Some of the neurologists say we are becoming a little lazy brain.
Too much on the smartphone.
Yeah, too much on the smartphone, that's right. But that, in fact, it is actually true. There is some concern that people are not using and challenging the frontal lobe enough. Yeah, and that one really requires a lot of additional effort that we tend not to do.
So before we go on to Patty's question, is this something that we should think about when we're in our 30s and start exercising our frontal lobes then, or is it just something later on?
Well, the frontal lobe, we probably should start when we're in our teens. Actually.
Well, yeah.
put the phones down and the texting and tweeting just for a minute, and work a little bit on it. But yes, sadly enough, the Alzheimer process in particular, and Alzheimer's is the most common of all the dementias. That process starts about 25 years before you have a symptom. So you really need to start in middle age. And the frontal lobe is an emphasis that pretty much requires being in company, being in a group, because it requires organizing your thinking and describing what you're thinking to another person. So you can do it alone if you write, but it's harder to make yourself do it. So, and that, yes, that is what we need to do. Now, here's another thing too. One of the exercises for frontal lobe is to not force yourself not to use cliches. Like, for example, awesome. You know how we use awesome as noun, adjective, adverb. Try to find more clever, interesting words to describe what you're meaning when you say the word awesome. Or if you say amazing, we say this is amazing or that is amazing. Try to find another word. Or I'm very excited. Or I'm so excited about doing whatever. Well, don't say excited. Try to force yourself to say something else, some other clever way of expressing yourself.
I'm thrilled to have you here.
That's a good start.
Patty, you want to?
Well, Belmont Village's Circle of Friends program was just honored with the 2016 Best of Memory Care Award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that was at the Argentum Senior Living Executive Conference because of the innovation and the advanced excellence in senior living. Is this where your concept of whole brain fitness was developed?
Yeah, well, the concept of whole brain fitness actually started before that, because Belmont has always been kind of at the forefront of translating research into programs. The researchers at all the universities, the UCSD, one of the major universities providing research, give us a lot of ideas of what is working, what is helping people, how do you improve the brain. And we've been translating that for some time. And in fact, researchers at UCSD and at UCLA and at Rush and some of the other universities actually asked Belmont, could we develop a program that would be very specifically therapeutic for their patients who are our residents.
Oh, wow.
So that's really kind of how we started. And then we were translating the research into programs, and then looking at that, we got a program evaluation specialist at the Vanderbilt University, Dr. Sandra Simmons, and she guided and helped us in how to design a program evaluation, because we wanted to see if our programs were matching what the research said we ought to be doing.
Right.
So we're always back and forth, and sometimes it did, and sometimes it didn't. So we were constantly changing, and we're now in about the 4th iteration of the program. So they're always evolving and changing. But that program was very successful in a variety of ways, not just for the brain, but for the social life and the well-being, the social well-being. And it was so successful, in fact, that everyone else who lived at Belmont wanted a program like that. So that's how we started developing the program and expanding it. So whether you're in the circle or not, there still is a whole brain fitness program.
That any resident has access to.
And even if you're in a later stage of dementia, what we found is that the research primarily focused on mild cognitive impairment, that early phase when you just have a little benign forgetfulness. And we found that the same principles that they had developed in research work with mild and moderate stage, and in fact can improve the functioning and lifestyle in the later stages.
Wow.
Although the later stage right now, that's one of our new emphases. That's one of our new
Does that tie into
goals.
the 6 domains of the mental workout? Is that all
Yes.
related?
Well, there's two dimensions that you want to look at. The 6 domains is a piece of it.
Okay.
There's actually 6 elements also. The reason we called it whole brain fitness rather than mental fitness is because we're looking at how the whole brain works together, the mind, body, spirit, basically. Because the research, the strongest research that we have now, and it is really strong research, is in exercise, the benefit of exercise to the brain.
I'm a perfect example of that.
Yeah, me too. I'm always out there pounding away on the treadmill and whatever, oh my gosh. But I mean, it's just unequivocal. The exercise is absolutely essential and vital, probably because it increases the blood flow and it increases the oxygen to the brain, but it seems to have other factors as well. So anyway, we added that, and then of course there's the diet. You read a lot about diet. And so we have a heart healthy, basically it's heart healthy diet, the Mediterranean diet, where you eat fewer creatures and more bushes, basically. You know, you go for that.
And your big meals at lunch.
And the big one is at lunch, exactly right. Yeah, you kind of don't eat quite as much red meat. That one is difficult to get people to change their diet, though. They'll do the exercise and everything else, but then they diet, no. None of that tofu, no, we're not doing tofu, no.
The tofu I agree with. I'll go fish. Is that okay?
Fish, and if it swims and flies.
Oh, okay.
Well, and if tofu's done right, it can be very tasty.
It is
Okay.
quite good. It is. But
Sorry. Sorry, America. I ain't going there.
well, that's how my husband feels.
Good.
He said,
I like him already.
He said, "Now forget the tofu part. We'll just go for the other. I'll give up the red meat when you're at home." But the other thing too that's of vital importance is the social group. It's been there's been some very good research on the importance of belonging to a group, of being and having a sense of purpose. So all of those on top of mental workout are what you look at with whole brain fitness. So then the 6 domains, if you kind of ratchet it down, the 6 domains is the piece that is focusing more on the mental workout. So it's 6 domains of the mental workout.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then each of those domains is exercising, like I was telling you with the deltoids, each is exercising
Okay,
a
so it's a
specific
subset
part.
of-
It's a subset of the whole brain fitness.
So it's really a pyramid. You know, you're starting at
Yes.
the top with the whole brain. Am I getting this
Yeah.
right? And then you're kind of coming down into breaking that up into different pieces of
Yes,
the brain.
yes, that's right.
I'm getting it.
Yes.
Patty?
So if someone's still at home, hasn't moved to a senior community, and they would like to improve their memory, how can they get a Just Right challenge on their own at home? Is that even possible?
It is. I have to say that I think it is harder, but it's not impossible. You can do it. Okay, well, the 2 principles that you want to remember, one is the 6 domains. Each of those domains you want to work on. The other is, and this is the cardinal principle, whatever you're doing has to be new to your brain. It has to be absolutely new, and it has to be a mental stretch. So if it's something, so for example,
challenge.
It has to be. So for example, if we were to just talk about, or your dog, your pet dog, or what you could say, what was your first pet? Let's remember talk about your first pet that you had. And what was your pet's name? We see that would not be new to your brain. And it wouldn't be a mental stretch. It'd be fun. It'd be fun, but it wouldn't be new. It wouldn't be a stretch. But if I were to say, why do you think people need to have a pet? What is the value of a pet in your life? Why would people need pets? People have had humans have had pets forever. You know, they found that, you know, going back through time. Why do they need a pet? That, you see, then is new to your brain, and then you're making yourself think or what they call organize an idea. Actually pull an idea together. So you need to have just sitting in front of the TV and not talking about it wouldn't be of value. Well, in fact, if you're watching this program, then what you need to do to make yourself have a mental workout is to think, what are the main points that are going to have some value to me, and how am I going to apply it and tell someone. It's an interesting challenge to tell someone,
To repeat a
to
story
repeat.
even
Now,
sometimes.
here's another thing that is a good challenge for them, aside from all the usuals of playing Sudoku and crossword puzzles and all, would be to look at a proverb. You could do this every day, actually. Look at a proverb and think, what does that proverb mean? In my own words, what does it mean? Like, for example, if you said, a rolling stone gathers no moss, what does that mean? What do you mean? What does that mean for your life? A rolling stone gathers no moss.
I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah,
For me, it means keep moving.
See, I mean, you can think, what does it mean? So if you're thinking of the rolling stone gathers no moss, it means keep moving, keep learning, keep growing. So that means that the moss is bad. The rolling stone is good. But so now make yourself think, what if I change that and make the moss the positive? How would that be? How would you work that out? How would you put that into words?
I have a lot to.
Then that means stop long enough to smell the roses.
Yes, it does. That's right. That's right. So either one could be correct. But see, that's how you want to challenge yourself. And this is why working in a group has an advantage, because the group will challenge you.
Exactly.
So Beverly, a lot of people come to us for advice on different communities in terms of that, and really Belmont Village being the true leader in the field of memory care. What advice would you give when people come to you and ask you what to look for when they're considering moving a loved one into a memory care community?
Well, of course, the most important factor are always the staff. It's the people who are there, the kind of warmth and caring and nurturing they have. For us at Belmont, it's important that they have, especially if they're leaders of a group, when they're managing because the activity program is a very vital part of maintaining their aging. So we do look for people who have education, who have some education or quite a bit of education actually, or they can be self-educated, but they need to have a world view. They need to have a curiosity about the world, and then they can impart that curiosity to the older adults who are living there. And I would look for that. How curious are they? Is it just Bible, ball toss, and bingo, or is it?
Wait, what was that again? I gotta remember that.
No, that's the three
Can I
Bs.
steal that line from you? Bible, what?
Bible, ball toss, and bingo.
Oh.
That's the three Bs of assisted living. But you want to see that the program. I mean, there's too much research out there to ignore the need to go beyond that and to really stimulate and challenge your brain. So that would be a key. And then you want to have a program where there is good training of staff. I would definitely ask about the training. How do you train them? Do you just plop them in front of a TV and then they just look at a series of statements and they answer yes or no, or is there actual mentoring and training that goes on?
Mentoring's big.
Yeah, the mentoring is that's really how people learn.
Yep.
I mean, truthfully, the classroom is only a limited.
Right.
You
Real-world experience.
want to see that there is a mentoring process, and so I think that if you have that, the environment itself can be very beautiful or it can be very old. I don't really think that's as important as the staff and the social climate. You want to feel that you can walk into the building and feel welcomed. There's a social climate, and you know when you feel at home.
Well, that's why we encourage everybody to go
Spend time.
Yes.
meet the people,
Yes.
enjoy their food,
Right.
and really
Yeah.
enjoy Belmont Village for all it offers for a great, exciting life enrichment program. So we're getting out of time, and we could go on forever because this is a topic very close to our personal lives. And you have just been a wealth of. I'm trying to think of an adjective verb. As I'm signing off, I'm going, come on, Ron, think of something. Beverly Sanborn, you've been a wonder to have here today, and we thank you for coming on the show. And we will be right back with more Senior Stay or Go TV.
When you belong to a community, it makes you feel safe. It inspires you to thrive. It honors your achievements, and it makes you feel at home. For nearly 20 years, Belmont Village Senior Living has created communities that have enriched the lives of seniors and their families, providing places where seniors lead healthy, purposeful lives under the care of staff who truly understand their needs. Belmont Village offers assisted living, independent living, and memory care in a continuum that supports residents when care needs change and providing for couples of varying care needs.
It's nice that we can be together. She needs a little bit more care than I do, and I don't have to do any cooking or shopping.
Aging is a gift. We invite you to embrace it with us and be a part of our community and our family. Belmont Village Senior Living, the community built for life.